Aaron says, my background is in bioinformatics. I don't even know what that is. Is that like fingerprints and stuff like that? And biochemistry, I know what that is. But I have done jobs in software and analytics and now looking for medicine and statistician's careers, so I understand what you meant by... Yeah, absolutely. It seems like there's no place for you because you've worked across all these different fields. Hello, that's me. I've worked across 5 industries. The thing that helped me, and maybe this applies to you or maybe not, maybe it doesn't, but I'll say it anyway, is like the cool thing about being in that situation is that if you work across these industries, you see people over here struggling with a problem they don't know how to solve. But unbeknownst to them, that exact problem has been solved years ago in this other industry. And if you've seen both, where not many people see both, you can transplant that solution from where you saw it used into this new area where they're struggling to solve it, and you look like a genius. Everybody thinks you're like amazing, and you're standing on the shoulders of giants, right? To use a cliche. You just borrowed something you saw from over here, you applied it here, bam. That kind of cross-pollination. You can deliver that to companies because you've been in that position where you've worked across different industries, especially ones that don't often, overlap. They don't often talk to each other. So that's what helped me in that situation. So Aaron says, really appreciate the advice. So, okay, great. So anyway, the good news, Aaron, is that there's a lot more to getting a job than recruiters and posted jobs. There's a lot more. There's a whole universe out there. Now, if people don't believe me, you probably all have family members that, you probably know you have a family member that got a job, not by applying cold to a company, but through some personal connection. Maybe they had an ex-coworker of theirs that went to that company and they got hired at that company too by reaching out to that ex-coworker, right? Or some version of it, right? Some version of networking. Right? Some people apply in person. 500 people applied online, but one person applies in person. They end up talking to the hiring manager. They say, can I speak to the hiring manager? Can I speak to this individual? And they actually get a meeting with that individual, and they're the one that gets hired. Why? Because of all the 501 applicants, that's the only one where they've had a sample of who you are, what you're like to deal with. You've already demonstrated how passionate you are about working in that job because you went to great lengths to go down there and meet them. Like, it's not about talking about yourself. It's about demonstrating, right? If you have a conversation with the hiring manager and you show that you know your stuff, you're professional, you're charismatic, and you're easy to deal with, you're already head and shoulders above every other candidate that just applied and they're just a resume. Right? As far as the hiring manager is concerned.